I wanted to point out an issue that a lot of people face and maybe do not realize what the issue is. So these cars, if you look at different forums, I don't know, some even different Facebook groups, a lot of people have issues with their car where it will stall, and well-intended people that might not know what the issue is start throwing things out there and create a huge laundry list of things to check, which is okay. I guess you could go over that. But sometimes it frustrates the people that are having the issue because people don't read and they don't read the fact that the person probably already checked all those different things. But like I mentioned in prior videos, I've had all kinds of issues with this car because the car wasn't taken care of. I've swapped engines and done all kinds of different things. So I've learned a lot, and I've had most of the issues that a lot of the people out there usually face. It's like I had the entire list so far. But anyways, one thing that does happen, and I think it's common and people don't realize, is vacuum leaks. The vacuum leak situation can be confused by other things like point issues. People start throwing out their dirty filters or fuel lines or vapor lock, and all kinds of dirty jets. They throw out a bunch of different things out there to try to help, of course, and I'm not a mechanic, not the most knowledgeable person out there when it comes to Volkswagen. Of course, I'm not, I haven't been doing this for 30 years. I'm not an engine builder or anything like that. I just, learned from my own mishaps, I guess. But these cars will have issues many times, especially these dual port engines have certain spots where vacuum leaks are more common that you might not have with a single port. So this car, I've had issues a few different times with this same situation. I thought it was the carb, swapped carbs, cleaned, changed jets, did all kinds of different things, and in fact took it to a really good mechanic, and he got it running. It did have some debris on the needle and seat, but the vacuum leak situation was not taken care of, so I went back to the same symptoms. So what are the typical symptoms of vacuum leak? The car, you turn it on, it will stall, or will turn, it won't stay on. You have to give it more gas than usual to keep it running. There will be irregular idle. Sometimes you can hear it idling faster, maybe around, let's say just over 1,000 RPM, 1,200 RPM, 1,100, something like that. Then it goes down to 800 or something around there, and it goes up and down. You'll stall when you're driving unless you give it gas, and you find that to get home, you have to keep pressing on the gas. If not, it will stall. Those are the typical symptoms. If you give it more, if you adjust the idle here to a higher idle, to maybe around 1,200 RPM, you notice that it stays on, but you still have the weird idling issues. If you connect whatever attack or what have you, you'll see the idle going up and down. All in all, the car is having issues because you have vacuum leak, so it's like starving. The air fuel mixture is not correct. So issues where, or what are the parts of the setup here that give you the issues? Usually these rubber boots here, The shaft here, this is the throttle shaft, and the manifold base here. I have an aftermarket manifold, which is very common for people that are not using like heat risers and have a newer engine or whatever, rebuild or what have you. You will have one of these like aftermarket type manifolds. This one bolts to the case of the engine. It moves, causing issues here. But also I think there's an irregular surface here. It's not perfectly flat. And that also causes a vacuum leak. If you spray like carb cleaner as the engine is running, it will go from perhaps 900 RPM to 1200 RPM. When you spray it with carb cleaner or one of those products, you'll see that it goes up in idle because you get, it's essentially you're adding fuel to the air. So just keep in mind that that's something to always check. If you have a similar setup, I guess, double check your car to make sure that you don't have a vacuum leak. That is it's a pain. It's really a pain because it's hard to pinpoint. And the reason I'm doing this video is because I changed the alternator, and there's a video on that. And I knew that I had issues here before, and with the boots as well. And the vacuum leak sprung up again. I think because I didn't swap the gasket. So it's a simple thing. It's not a big deal. I'll just make sure that I put a new gasket there. Add the Aviator Permatex, and I just want to make sure that I don't have any leaks going forward. But I understand now by the symptoms what the vacuum leak, that it's a vacuum leak issue, that it's nothing to do with my distributor or anything to do with my car being dirty or fuel line or any of that stuff. I think the symptoms might be similar, but there's some particular things that do happen in terms of the idle. And the symptoms are, just different enough from other issues that you can tell that it's a vacuum leak and not any other situation going on. I just started the car, and the idle, as you can see it, you can hear it also. It goes up and down. Now it's going almost 1,000 RPM. When I had set it up, I set it to around 900. So it jumps. I mean, right now the car is cold. As it warms, it just idle even faster. There you go. Very erratic idle. If you find that your boots are broken and you don't want to tear down the engine or take it down out of the car, they sell these, and I used it before because I did have a tear, and these work fine. I don't know how long of I didn't have them for too long, but it worked well. I think some people run them long term and it works fine. They do recommend that you put a little bit of silicone here, which I did. And these come with these type of ties there, so it kind of wrap around. But they work fine. They work fine. I had issues with the red ones before. I mean, I don't know. There's silicone. There's urethane ones. There's different products. I mean, some people have a preference. I think there are some that are better than others. I did my research, and these are, I got them in black, but these were, I can't remember what they are right now, but supposedly these were the best ones to prevent tears because it's painful to swap those. You have to take without removing the engine, and you remove these, you might cure your issue with your boots there, but then you might have a leak here at the heads. To get those gaskets to sit properly without removing the engine is tricky. I know some people, I'm sure, that are really good mechanics, experts, what have you, I'd probably get it done. I would be worried about it. I would be concerned, because then to have a leak there is going to put you back at the same, in the same spot, and then you're going to have to remove the engine, put the right, the gaskets the right way, and do the whole thing again. So it's a lot of work. But yeah, you could have a leak there as well, vacuum leak. So I don't want to mess with that. I prefer to put these on until I have a situation where I need to pull the engine out, and then I'll replace them with the proper type boots.
setup of your engine and whatnot. I'm not really. My car seems to be a little bit happier in the 950 range, especially when I'm taking off traffic lights here in Miami, South Florida. I don't know, just kind of like to be a little bit more on the upper end, but I guess anywhere around 800, 900 is fine. The way I set up the carb, which this is not a carb video. I need to still let the car warm up a little bit more. I didn't want to have it as high as 1300 RPM. But anyways, I set it up by, and there's videos out there. There's a lot of information. So I set the volume control. I tighten it all the way. Stop. You don't have to tighten it, just get it all the way to tighten it all the way to the end where it stops turning. The same thing with the bypass screw. So then I do 2.5 turns on the volume and 2.5 turns on the bypass. I start the car. Once it's warm, I work on the bypass to get it to where it needs to be. Around 850 RPM is fine. You want to go higher, 900, people depending on your setup. So, but 850 is about right. 900, something like that. From 8 to 9. But that's how I set it up. After you do something like that, like what I did, you're always going to have to check it just to be sure. People do it by ear. I'm not good enough to do that. But that's how you have to adjust it because, for example, I had set up my idle to around 900. I sealed it properly and it went up all the way to 1300. So definitely there was vacuum leak that caused that, that difference in idle once everything was put back together. All right, so I'm done. I set up the RPM at around 900, a little bit under 900. Simple enough, seems to be stable right now, but with this car and my engine setup, it's a never-ending story. Hopefully one day I'll get the engine that I'm looking for, and then I'll get everything done correctly. Right now it's reliable enough. I can drive it to work every day, no issues. It's just not new car reliable. Of course, I don't think these cars should ever be, but I think if I put the engine that I want in there and set it up properly, could be even better. So, but it takes time, it takes money, and money is key. So right now, with the way the economy is, I don't know. I don't think it's a good move to do to spend I don't know $5,000 on a long block. It wouldn't be a wise decision right now. But I want to do that eventually. Right now, that's pretty much it. If I have any other issues or any other things that I have to work on the car, that I have to do on the car, I'll definitely do another video. Hopefully this helps somebody out there. It's a learning process for me. It's a learning process for a lot of us. So hopefully sharing this information helps. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Remember to like, subscribe. It helps me out. Thank you, guys.